Hi, it's John Hucker. It's early January 2021, and we're all locked up in our homes, protecting everybody from the COVID pandemic. And meanwhile, crypto markets are exploding. So I thought it would be interesting today to be joined by one of our friends at Bitcoin Suisse, which is really one of the biggest crypto brokers, Mauro Casellini. Mauro, I have to admit, I'm not great with Italian names, so I apologize. But it's a pleasure to have you back, and looking forward to hearing a little bit about crypto markets. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
John, a pleasure to be here. Yes, I'm Mauro Casellini, the CEO of Bitcoin Suisse Liechtenstein. It's a sister company of Bitcoin Suisse, who is based in Zug. So I'm responsible for the European business. We are working in Switzerland and Liechtenstein on a banking license. So the goal is to be fully regulated all over Europe, because the benefit of Liechtenstein is you can sell or offer your services all over Europe, because Liechtenstein is in the European Economic Area and therefore has the possibility to sell whatever they offer on a regulatory side all over Europe.
Well, I guess it's important to distinguish you guys up front. You really are one of the more reputable, well-known, established, and reliable crypto brokers. And as you mentioned, that's not only here in Switzerland, but also in the European framework. So it's with that in mind that I wanted to ask you, what's going on these days in crypto markets? I've heard that there's some price developments. Could you tell us a bit more in detail what's been going on?
Yeah, it's amazing what's going on during the last month. As you mentioned in the introduction shortly, the COVID pandemic, definitely a crazy thing. We have not seen something like that for a very, very, very long time. But yeah, it's that in the end helped a lot to the crypto space. So we see that a lot of countries are printing money as hell. We get updates from the United States on a daily basis, what will happening there. In the European Union, they're printing money. Even Switzerland and all the countries are trying to help their own people with new money. And that's great and that's important. But people who understand how money works see that there's some kind of an inflation needs to happen and will happen. And therefore, what should you do with your money? What should you do with your assets? You should definitely invest in things that are safe against inflation. So you should invest in real estate. You should invest in precious metals, but also in the amazing and great invention from 2008 or 2009, how we see it, Bitcoin. And therefore, a lot of people are started looking at Bitcoin or are still looking at Bitcoin, and therefore the prices went up really a lot during the last year, last month. So if we look at what happened in Bitcoin, and I would really like to focus on that shortly, it's crazy if you look at it. If you look at what happened the last week, for example, as I mentioned, we are beginning of January. So in January, if we look at what happened in the beginning, it went up a lot, and then it dropped again by 20%. And even again, as always, if Bitcoin has a correction about 20% or whatsoever, the press again writes about, oh God, Bitcoin is dying. What's happening with Bitcoin? Is everyone selling? But if you look at it, even in January, and we have now 12 days in January, we are up. We are up a lot. If you look at the last month, we see it even more crazy how it went up and what happened there. We went up from somewhere about 18K to more than 36K at the moment after a drop. And if you look at the whole year of 2020 until 2021, you can only see that it went up really a lot. And that's for me really great to see, because we see a lot of movement in the market, and that's definitely what should happen, because Bitcoin is, from my perspective, an amazing asset to be secure against inflation. Also, the rest in the crypto market went up a lot. But that's something we saw a lot during the last few years. Always when Bitcoin started going up, the rest also went up. So we will see what's happening there during the next few months. But I'm very positive if I look at the market at the moment to see what is happening and what can happen. There are crazy numbers out there speaking about, in the next few months, over 100K, in the next few months, over 400K or whatsoever. Different analysts are over betting by themselves like where it will be, but it's really, really a positive sentiment. And you see it's completely different than back in 2017 where afterwards it dropped drastically and very fast. We have a lot of professional investors in the market. We have institutional money in the market. So it's people with big pockets that definitely have the gut to stay in the market for a few years, they are now joining. And it's not like the guy who is scared when it goes down to 20% and goes up 50% and so on. So they have a long-term view on the crypto space, and that helps, from my perspective, to for a long-term perspective. And it's amazing to see that.
I guess you mentioned a few things there that are impacting the market. It's, I guess, the instability and the inflation risk, but then also the institutional uptake and the interest in the space. Are there any other major market forces that you think are at play and worth mentioning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and regulation on a third pillar, I would say definitely, as I say, new money coming in the traditional world is scary at the moment, but also the regulation. So a lot of countries, a lot of regions, the United States, Europe, Switzerland, and other countries are regulating crypto. They are, with regulation, you always legitimate something. So if you tell someone how he has to deal with Bitcoin, you are telling him in the same words that it's legit, because if you can deal with it from a regulatory perspective, it has to be something. So it's also a point where a lot of big players can now join, because there is regulation there, and there will be regulation there. For example, if you look at Europe, there is a regulation that they drafted, and it was published a few months ago, the market in crypto assets. We have already the MiFID, the traditional world, and we will now have the same for the crypto world. So we will have a fully regulated environment by latest about 2024, 2025 in all over Europe, for example. That helps a lot, because if I would like to invest money and I know there will be clear regulation in between the next years, that's positive. So I try to invest because it will be good as soon as it's regulated. Everyone would like to join. So I will join now already, even if I only know that there will be some kind of regulation. So regulation helps a lot. It makes a lot of things complicated for the really, really early guys who are very innovative and completely decentralized, but it helps, I would say, 98% of all people out there. Fully regulated environment helps most of us.
Well, I was going to ask in a little bit more detail about forecasts for future years with the price of especially Bitcoin, but it sounds like you think it will be generally going up. So maybe to take the question a bit of a different way, what are some of the risks you see to the positive forecasts around crypto prices? Are there things that could make it more likely that we see them crashing or not realizing those positive potentials?
Mm-hmm. In the end, crypto, and especially if you speak about Bitcoin, is still a high risk investment. And what would happen if tomorrow all crypto whales are guys who hold a lot of crypto or a lot of Bitcoin, sell all their Bitcoin? We do not know why that should happen, but what if they do? If they really spread the market or throw a lot of Bitcoin on the market, that will definitely influence the price negatively, because it's as always buy and sell. If more would like to sell than buy, price will go down. If more would like to buy than sell, price go up. It's in the end definitely not that easy, but it's to show it how it in the end can really work. And therefore, that could be an influence. On the other side, if we have an over-regulation, if we now start seeing, Bitcoin will be regulated, but in the end, we will regulate it that hard that it will not even be user-friendly anymore, or you cannot even use it anymore. So it's, again, the things that help a lot can also destroy it. So a lot of money coming in, yes, if a lot of money goes out, we have a problem. If regulation is there, that's good. If it's over-regulated, it's not good. So yes, I'm very positive if I look at the development of Bitcoin and what will be there on a price side. But it's still high risk, and even things we do not know if it will have a problem on a technical perspective. It's not that we expect that, but what if the Bitcoin network is down in a month for a few days or weeks, or even only for a few hours? That would be horrible. And it never had a problem. It's up and running since 2009, never had a problem, never had something that didn't work out. But it could happen by some reason we do not know now. So there are still some risks out there.
Interesting to keep an eye on that. And thank you for the risk disclosure. That's always important when we talk about investing. I wonder, do you have any perspective on some of the talk around central bank cryptocurrencies or digital money and the idea of stable coins? What are your thoughts there?
No, it's an amazing question. Definitely, if we speak about CBDC, it's really central bank digital currency is very interesting, because if I speak with friends, they always tell me, "Oh, Mauro, if we will have CBDC, Bitcoin is dead. And I say, oh no, it will be the complete difference. If we really are at the point where we will have a retail central bank digital currency, for example, US dollar or euro, where you and me by myself can buy a digital issued money by a national bank, that will be amazing and will help a lot to definitely have better payment infrastructure, better settlement infrastructures, and so on. And therefore, it will be easier to get access to Bitcoin. It will be easier to get access to other cryptocurrencies. So it will be always a bet against the traditional financial market. And even if I have a central bank digital currency euro as digital euro, it's still euro and it's still inflationary, and they can print it then even easier because now they need to put on the printing machine, but in the future they press only a button and 1 billion of euro is produced, 1 trillion of euro is produced. So it makes it even easier to flood the market with money, but it's a huge benefit for crypto. If we have CBDCs and we will have legitimated by that the blockchain technology, again, it will help Bitcoin a lot to grow.
Exciting times, I agree. And of course, there's a real experiment going on here in Switzerland with the Bank for International Settlements, the SNB, and I think it's SIX and Swisscom who are working with them. So we'll have to pay attention to how that's developing. Mauro, before we head off, I thought you would be a good person to ask. For those who are interested in crypto trading, whether they're professionals or retail investors, what are some tips you can share for people who are getting involved in cryptocurrency trading?
For me, as I mentioned it already in the other talk we had, do your own research. It's really, really important. Do not trust your friends or whomever who tells you, boy, you need to invest there, that will go up as hell. It can work out quite good, but as it also is in traditional investments, do your own research. Think about, are you able and willing to lose all the money you are investing? Is that fine? Or is the risk you are taking in line with what you are able to give in as a risk? So it's always important. Do not believe someone like myself that tells you Bitcoin will go up, and I really believe that it will go up, because it can be completely the difference in a few weeks, months, years. But therefore, only invest what you are happy to lose or willing to lose, not happy to lose, and do your own research. Trust yourself, trust your own research, and do your homework.
Great. Very smart words, Mauro. Any final words before we say goodbye? Or can people reach out to you in Bitcoin Suisse if they want to get more involved in the crypto space?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. You can reach out directly to me via LinkedIn, via the homepage of bitcoinswiss.com. You can definitely contact us, and we are really, really happy to help you with whatever need you have. Even if we cannot support you by ourselves, we are happy to connect you with the right companies and right people. Therefore, it's really amazing you'll be a part of that nice developing blockchain space, and we will have amazing times in the future. And I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Great. Well, thank you again, Mauro. It's Mauro Casellini. He's the CEO of Bitcoin Suisse Liechtenstein AG. And we look forward to hearing more great news from the cryptocurrency space and catching up with you in the coming months, Mauro. So thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.